So here is the Uwe Boll, and I do a little alone English speaking news update from my perspective. I'm gonna go to Zagreb and I will shoot the Dark Knight with Army Hammer, and I'm very excited about it. Complicated shoot, a lot of action in dark times in winter. And then yesterday we heard about David Lynch is dead. It made me feel like, yeah, he's 20 years, he was 20 years older as me. Also, my time is kind of running up, man. I'm not, so far I'm in good health, so I think I can be around. And he was a chain smoker. For this, he lived a long time, actually, with 79. And my dog is barking again. Gary has a lot of things to do, and I'm not sure I can do another podcast together before I leave to Zagreb. And then for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, you will not really hear from me. Just follow me on Uwe Boll Films on Instagram, or Uwe Boll 7 on Twitter, or on my Facebook, whatever. I will update maybe there. So David Lynch, right? So I have no matter how I feel about the films, a lot of the films, I remember when I watched Eraserhead in the movie theater, it was very disturbing, sometimes really strange, where you feel like you don't get an inner connection to any of the people acting in the film. But overall, one thing was clear with David Lynch. I mean, he did films I really like. Wild at Heart, I really liked that film. Mulholland Drive, I hated the first time, I couldn't understand it. Then I watched it the second time, later a third time, and I loved it. It's like hypnotizing. Twin Peaks. And he was a real original artist, in the best form of what an artist can be, having like creating, using film as art and making things nobody else would do or wanted to do or could do. And I think that's the thing with him, with the David Cronenberg, with a very stylistic, like Tarkovsky, Pasolini, like these filmmakers, Godard, who are the film history, who were the miles, like the front runners of themselves. They didn't create a genre or something like, they also didn't create the best films of all times, but they tried out the art form film in a way, in a different way as everybody else who were making films at that time, and they pushed the envelope forward, and they stayed on their track of, that's Louis Buñuel from Spain, right? The Carlos Saura. These are people, François Truffaut. They had their styles, and they moved it forward in a way. Also Alfred Hitchcock. So, and where you could identify the director based on the style the film was done. And yes, there was hit and miss in regards of success or audience acceptance of a lot of these artists, but they're overall made film an art form, and they're overall made film in a way alive and pushed film forward. I think all people, all directors learned from this, basically icons of film who moved things forward in regards of style, camera, light, music, directing, forming the actors the way you want it, and so on. And so, rest in peace, David Lynch. I think he definitely was one of the, as I said, like the front runners of cinema in regards. He never compromised, and I felt like there was a lot of things happening recently, as so many of this kind of era of filmmakers, like Cronenberg, whatever, they have problems to get movies made. and they have their problems maybe from the beginning of their career, but definitely in the last 15, 20 years in an example, like in a very, very big way. And you see that like old other icons like Scorsese or Ridley Scott, James Cameron, whatever, Steven Spielberg, they stay on top of the commercial game, and presenting things they also transform into streaming successes. And they getting the big shows, the big money, the big actors, whatever. And I want to kill my dog right now because every single time I do something, he flips completely out. But yeah, wait 1 second. So, uh, unbelievable, and of course, the wildfires, right? And interesting is like, remember the Grey's Anatomy disgraced writer Elizabeth Finch, who faked she had cancer, losing a kidney, whatever. She right away when the fires happened is now do Venmo uh, thing to her own account to collect money for a relief of wildfires. So a good old scammer stays always a good old scammer. And then tomorrow, maybe the Supreme Court will switch off TikTok. Then a lot of people in the US, kids, teenagers, falling into a vacuum of holy shit. And then they move straight to YouTube and Instagram and keep doing what they're doing. But um, there are also other apps and they come similar like TikTok. So the show will continue that our kids and teenagers getting body shamed and getting porn and violence and killing and not reading books anymore and then getting worse in school. There is a direct connection, of course, between social media and that the whole school system falls apart and nobody learns anything. Then we have the big fight, Justin Baldoni against Blake Lively. 400 million he sued her, she sued him for 250. Both know nobody will ever pay that money. It's just like making attorneys happy. They all defame each other, extort each other, insult each other, with the difference that Justin Baldoni, I never heard about that guy before he landed really this big film hit with her, and it looks like they didn't get good along, and then they got resentful, and then they flipped out on each other, and it's really like hurting both of them, and it's laughable. Also, the amounts they're suing each other for shows the absolutely both-sided disrespect for the normal working people who have to actually earn their money and don't make only bullshit billings for not doing anything. And that brings me to a point where this week I got pitched a film with Mel Gibson, John Travolta, and it's like they're getting like each like 3-4 million bucks for a few days of work in a shit film. What cost them 15-16 million bucks, but on screen you will see 2 million of it. That's Hollywood, right? It's basically it's all this kind of crazy bullshit going on with overinflated budgets, etc., etc. And now with the fires, it's an absolute disaster for also the industry and the normal population who will lose jobs, income, who don't have homes, who don't know where to live, etc. And then you have this parallel world where they pocketing it left and right when all that super rich people getting like, of course it's hard that they lost their homes, right? But they have three of them, like somewhere else, So, and uh, that's the thing where of course it's devastating, but it's not like devastating like somebody lost their house and has exactly 600 bucks total wealth. Then it's a little different, and I think these people need help. And as Bill Mayer it said yesterday in his show, I think it's very important to crystal clear say it like it is. LA and California completely failed in getting something going against the fires, that you're prepared for fires. that you have, of course, water and more fire trucks and maybe water sprinkler pipelines and airplanes who can put fire out from the sky. And for all of this, they don't have money because they spend it for all kinds of bullshit, but not for the population who pay the taxes. That's a worldwide phenomenon, what you have, So then, I mean, there's a lot of stuff running what I don't want to watch and what I think it's crap. I think also when you see now all the nominations, the Emmys, the Grammys, the BAFTA, the DJ Awards, the SAG Awards, the Oscars, whatever, it's this kind of 5, 6 films or 10 films, like the Conclave. I heard it's crap. I didn't even watch it. Emilia Paris, I heard it's crap. The Substance, I heard it's crap. So it's basically like when you talk to normal people, film lovers, and a lot of this kind of nominated films are only the result out of, okay, check, diversity, boop, 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 fix and evoke culture, boop, 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 we have to lift them up. And nobody looks anymore to like, that is comparable with the fires in LA, right? Nobody looks anymore into, it doesn't matter if you have green, white, blue, diverse men, woman, people at the fire department. It matters if these people are able to destroy fires, right? Or save people out of houses. That matters. And who they are, where they're coming from, what gender they have. It doesn't give a fuck. The qualification has to be on top. That's the problem in the film industry too, that they are all nominating shit what they basically want to push forward with enormous amounts of money, like political candidates. Look at Kamala Harris, like $2 billion spent on her and all gone for nothing. What could you do with this money for the stupid campaign? But think about the situation with these films, right? They are, of course, not even successful films in a way, and they're not even good films. That's the difference, right? You would now, films like Taxi Driver would never be nominated for anything. It would be like it's a fucking racist film with child sex, whatever, right? So it would be not going anywhere today. But they were the interesting films in the 80s, 90s, whatever, reflecting reality, reacting to reality, and had realistic kind of characters. And now we have fictional characters. When I heard the Conclave is in the very end also about gay or transvestite people, whatever, transgender people in the problems in the church. I didn't saw it is, but I have no clue. As I said, I didn't watch it. I will watch it for free at one point, but it's running here on one of the streamers. So, and it's also a thing that I'm not really interested in. Actually, I don't want to see Daniel Craig playing queer. He is not queer, and I don't want to have him playing queer, and I don't want to see even a fucking film queer. I'm not interested in that bullshit, and it's really like bad, like that films who run for prizes and are in this festival, the festival loved films, they're mostly crap. And then you have the big thing like the new Bad Boys, whatever. Just watched this on Netflix and all that stuff, and the stuff with The Rock, and it's also total crap. It's like bullshit crap with hundreds of millions of dollars for eye candy, without story, without character, without any emotional connection to anybody who acts there. That's the film industry right now, right? So, and and films like, look at my film Run about the migration, super good. I'm gonna blood up James Russo, whatever. It's a gripping film about real stuff. People would watch it, people would like it. As you see with my film First Shift, 11 weeks in the top 10, top 15 at Paramount Plus and Showtime. Has it any positive consequence for me? No. Everybody wants First Shift, wants to look more First Shift episodes. And did Paramount Plus gives me $2 million to continue? No. They give 250 million bucks to some, like, where all the check marks are fulfilled. That's all bullshit. It all has to stop. It all has to change. It has to get reformed back to the only thing what matters is quality when it comes to film. And the only thing what matters are results when it comes back to governing and natural disasters also, like the fires, for example. Now, that was for me only important to point that out, that it's really like this kind of God, yeah. I mean, all this, when I say the brutalist and so on, I just cannot watch all of this stuff, you know, and it's not interesting, not entertaining, you know. But on the other hand, all this other shit, like Back in Action, Cameron Diaz is back, but also this, I mean, sorry, but oh God. You see a photo, you know the whole film, you know how this film will unfold, you know. And that would be a little different in my film The Dark Knight. What I'm shooting now is Army Hammer. Like, nobody knows how this unfolds, and nobody knows what the fuck is happening before you actually watch it. And then it's not following the cliches. It's having his own life, his own, like the own power to it. And it will be definitely something where people say, I never watched something like this before. And that's the goal, to do something where you are on the edge of your seat, you keep watching it, and you're really like, wow, I cannot believe it that he did that or that they did that. I think that's very, very important. Yeah, I liked on Netflix the American Primeval or Primal thing that from Peter Berg, that Western with who was in it, but doesn't matter who was in it, but it was good. It was brutal, forward. Was it in the Wild West like this? I don't think so, but I think it's very. It was very impressive filmed, and it grabbed me, and I could binge watch it. So I really liked it, you know. So yeah, that about this, and then we have the Trump inauguration coming up. Indoors, it's too cold. Carrie Underwood cannot be frozen. So people are pissed because there were people traveling from all of America to see it on the big thing, and how is it always outside? Maybe they shouldn't do that inauguration stuff in the election in winter, you know, like the Super Bowl. You can do that also when it's a little warmer. So, yeah, they will get over it. Trump will start. Let's see how this all ends, or how this all goes. Like, will he finish the Ukraine war short term or not? It will be all interesting how things will actually uh, happen, you know. So yeah, and here in Germany it's also cold, um, and I wish you basically all a good, happy weekend. Let's see what else I'm heading. The Diamond Comics, they filed for bankruptcy. That was the news I saw. And then we had the wildfires in photos. Shockingly, I posted a lot also on Twitter and so on. And yeah, it's very bad. I mean, that it was so dry there, and that they had fires year after year after year. I mean, it's obvious, right? So, and I think it's like ridiculous that this got so overlooked for so long, you know. And yeah, David Lynch, I talked about. I always copy things and then I look up for what I want to say about it. And Trump did that. Named Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, John Ford, they're special ambassadors to troubled Hollywood. Yeah, but they don't have really a pull. You know, nobody hires these guys anymore for real, like streaming TV shows besides Stallone and Tulsa King. They are legends, but I don't think they will move the needle. I think what would have to happen is that Hollywood reforms in the same way as I said it, like good films, good stories, no matter who works on that films. Like, let producers, directors work with the people they want to work with. Let's tell the stories, how the story has to be told, you know, and the diversity comes through the stories. But don't try to make everything diverse, and everything has to have all the races, all the skin colors, and all the genders on screen, whatever story you tell, because this destroys everything. That makes everything shitty. So that's the key issue. What has to get off the algorithms, Amazon and so on, they have to reprogram their algorithms. That's the only way to do it. So all the best, and we talk soon. I keep you informed. Follow me on social media everywhere. I keep you informed about the progress of The Dark Knight, and also, of course, informed about how First Shift keeps going and what distribution finally Run will get. Goodbye.